I really see cybersecurity as the new realm of military operations. And I'm going to go back a ways. If you go back to the time of the Roman Empire, the realm of military operations that you had to control, that you had to dominate, if you wanted to dominate the world, was the ground, right? You had to control territory, and you had to control the ground. You had to be able to sustain your control over that ground, so that if you look time and time again in previous empires, such as the Roman Empire, they could get as far as they could geographically, and once you lost the ability to control that ground, the empire starts to fall and starts to shrink. Later on, if you fast forward to the British Empire, what they controlled, yes, it's the ground, but really it was naval power. The British Navy is what made the British Empire and what kept the British Empire. And their ability to control the logistics, that realm of military operations, logistics over the surface of the oceans of the earth, is what kept the British Empire the mighty empire that it was. And once they started to expand beyond their capability to maintain that, again, the empire started to shrink. Fast forward to World War II and then to Vietnam. Again, a new realm of military operation emerges that becomes critical to any nation that wants to be able to dominate the battlefield, to control its own security, and that was air power. Starting with World War II, obviously until the US dominated the skies in World War II and we could put up more bombers than the Germans could, that we could outfight, outmaneuver the Japanese fighters, we did not control that battlefield. And once we controlled the air war, we were then able to gain the upper hand. Similarly, in Vietnam, again, air power and the rise of air assault or air mobile. And I see today, cybersecurity is that next realm of military operation. It is a realm that we must dominate. Yes, we have to maintain our capabilities in the air, on the ground, over the oceans, under the oceans, but the one thing that ties all of this together is communications, is network infrastructure, is cybersecurity. Because more than ever, the connections between each one of those realms of operations is absolutely vitally dependent on the communications between them. This is why you have to be able to have Air Force aircraft communicating with Army Apaches closer to the ground, telling them about potential slow-moving threats so that the Apaches can go down and take a look at what's there, determine whether it's friend or foe, and take out that enemy if that enemy is there. It's about our ships out at sea, our submariners who can talk to everyone that's operating in the battle space, not just with the US military, but also with our allies. It's also about, as a National Guard officer, protecting the domestic territory. And this means we have to be able to defend our infrastructure, whether it is our electrical grids, whether it is controlling all of the pipelines that run under this nation and the ability to make sure that those are secure. It's far less likely that we have to defend the pipelines in this nation from somebody going in to blow them up than it is from someone trying to control the flow of the oil and the gas that's going through those pipelines. A disruption in our oil supply and our natural gas supply could be devastating, not just for our economy, but for certain parts of the country, for its security. And so that connection between the military, the civilian authorities, and just everyday Americans is even more vital now than it was before.